Today on this James the Bike Guy, we're checking out a transformer of an endurance road bike, and also something I'm guessing you are not that familiar with. We're checking out the 765 Optimum Plus from Look, a French manufacturer of road bikes that's pretty popular overseas and gaining some popularity here in the United States as well. And we're going to go into some of the features and designs that really intrigue me about this 765, so much so that I wonder, should this bike go on the short list? Well, anyways, go ahead and stick with me. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos like this in the future. Look Bicycles is a full-line manufacturer of road bikes and mountain bikes. And this Look 765 Optimum Plus slots in what they would call their endurance category. Now, to put that in perspective, they've got something called a 795 blade, which is certainly in the more aerodynamic category of riding. And then they have their 785, which is the lightweight climber version of the bike. So if we were to put these into, say, Trek terminology, that would make that 795 be a Trek Madone, the 785 would be their Amanda, and then this version, the Look 765, is a Domani. However, it offers a lot more than just being an endurance bike, and most of that starts off by checking out their French-made carbon fiber frame. So this frame is a little unique in look, but it's grown on me, and I certainly think it looks pretty slick, especially with that integrated headset up top that kind of sleeks everything together. Internal cable routing going down to this nice thick carbon fiber fork on the front end, of course, with a through axle 12 by 100 through a press fit bottom bracket, moving back through their 3D wave technology, rear chainstay and seat stay. So the seat stay that's on the bike, you can see, has a bit of a funky look to it, which gives a whole heck of a lot of tire clearance. And then going down, if we look from the backside, you can see the chainstay on the drive side drops below where the non-drive side is. And that drop allows them to still get enough clearance between the chain rings, which is super snug, and the tire for some crazy tire clearance. Now, when we're talking about tire clearance, a traditional endurance geometry bike might go up to 32 millimeters pretty solidly. But this bike is going to go up to 42 millimeters, both in the rear as well as the front. So if you look through, tons of tire clearance up front. And what makes things even more exciting, at least to me, on the geometry of this, is you can also run 650B by 2.1 inch tires as well. So that means you can go full gravel, full thick tires on this bike with a mountain bike size of 2.1s, all on an endurance road bike. And that allows the geometry of the bike to keep it fast and snappy, but still have giant tires. So you don't pay the price of a, say, more adventure style gravel bike. Stays performance, and just with a wheel swap, you can drop in some thick, chunky gravel tires and then swap back to these narrow road bike tires. Now, geometry-wise, Look says that this should be a more comfortable position than their other bikes, and I think that's true because across the board, it's about 10 millimeters shorter in reach and 20 millimeters higher in stack. The other thing is the geo is set up where the frame should help absorb some of the road vibrations as you go down the road, which should allow long days in the saddle to be certainly much more comfortable. But if you look through, they're not going to make the bike, soft or flexy. You can tell that with that nice tapered head tube, huge bottom bracket, and all the bits to it, this frame is still going to be set up to put some power to the road. Diving into the components on this rig, this is one of the lower spec versions coming through with a mid-level Shimano 105 drivetrain. So Look certainly specializes in mid to upper end bikes, so this is still really well spec, but it's going to be one of the more beginner versions in their line. So this has 2 rings up front through this Shimano RS 500 crankset, and then it goes back to the Shimano 105 rear derailleur with 11 speeds. So the 11 speed rear derailleur on this runs a 11 to 32 tooth cassette out back, and of course that front was a 50-34, giving it a super wide range of gearing. It's just below a 1-to-1 ratio, so plenty to be climbing. Now on the handlebar is going to be some Shimano STI style hydraulic levers. So they'll have hydraulic brakes inside of here, and then STI style means that your index finger pushes it to harder gear, whole lever over goes to an easier gear. and then you pull back for brakes. And what's pretty neat about this is this can be done from the hoods just like this and down in the drop. So you have lots of control over shifting and braking the bike. So the right side is going to be the rear on the US spec, left side the front on the spec, and it goes down to braking using some Shimano 105 2-piston hydraulic caliper flat mount brakes. Cockpit wise is courtesy of Look branded alloy cockpits on this rig. So we've got the Look LS2 alloy handlebar, which this handlebar seems to be a mid-compact setup, so middle reach, a little bit shorter drop to that lower part of the bar. And then you have their SL2 alloy stem, which is a 2-bolt stem going to a 4-bolt alloy faceplate. And then perched up, you'll be on a San Marco Monza saddle, which is a nice performance Italian saddle, going to a Look alloy seat post. This seat post is their LS3 alloy, and it's going to be featured in a 27.2 millimeter diameter. Rolling the bike on the ground is courtesy of some Shimano RS 171 rims. This is going to be an alloy tubeless ready rim. It's laced up with J-bend spokes to these Shimano rear and front through axle hubs. And then the tires that are mounted up on them are some Hutchinson Fusion 5 tires. It's featured in a 700 by 30 millimeter width. Now, they are tubeless ready along with the rims, although from the factory it's going to come standard with some tubes, but with a tubeless valve stem and some sealant, you'll be able to set this rig up tubeless. Actual weight of this Look 765 Optimum Plus with 105 comes in and weighs 20.62 pounds. Thanks for joining me and checking out this Look 765 Optimum Plus. It's a pretty interesting bike, if I do say so myself, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. The weight came in a bit more than I expected, but I think with a wheel set change and a crankset change, this thing would be plenty light for the money. Past that, go ahead, leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe so that way you can see more videos like this in the future.